morning, Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders. It's about 10:30 on Sunday morning. I've been waiting for the Insiders panellists to emerge, and maybe they're having a party inside or have gone out through another door. James Chessel did leave about 15 minutes ago, but he was on the phone apparently looking for a cab or something. I was intrigued, of course, at the usual pile-on about climate change and global warming, and the close questioning of Richard Marles about the lack of climate change policy by the current government, and particularly in relation to the building of coal-fired power stations. Just bear with me a sec. I did tweet to all of the panellists and the executive producer a link to a New York Times report from the past week that indicated that in Japan they've ordered 22 new coal-fired power stations. And I wanted to ask the panellists whether they thought that Japan is a bunch of climate deniers or whether they're just living in reality. So far I haven't had a chance. I did also want to touch on the level of hypocrisy of some well-known climate change spruikers. Prince Charles was recently reported to have incurred in the order of £80,000 for private jet travel to various destinations in Europe, including a journey to Davos, I believe, in order to shake hands with Greta Thunberg. Not only was there an expenditure of British taxpayers' money of about £80,000, but think of the humongous CO2 emissions that Prince Charles racked up with all of his to and fro private jet travel. I would have also tried to mention a Forbes internet report late last year about Barack and Michelle Obama paying $15 million for a waterfront mega mansion at Martha's Vineyard in the US, all while they're spruiking about the risk to the planet of human-induced climate change and sea level rise. And then, as a final cherry on the top this morning, after all of the spruiking, I was here when Richard Marles, the studio guest this morning, was departing, and he walked down this very footpath with a person who I assume is some sort of administrative assistant. He walked down this very street on his mobile phone, as he was when he arrived, so that I didn't have a chance to actually engage with him in any relevant conversation. But he walked down this very footpath, around this corner, and walked about 100 metres down. Okay, here are the folks. Okay, I'm not going to. I was just doing a piece to camera, and I was walking down here. Look, congratulations on a great show today. I thought it was fair and balanced up to a point, but climate change. I read a report in the New York Times last week that Japan has ordered 22 new coal-fired power stations. Did you read that report? You didn't read that report?
I didn't read the New York Times report.
Okay. If Japan is ordering 22 new coal-fired power stations, is that a reflection that they are climate change deniers? Is that a...
It's okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
We'll just, yeah.
Okay. Is that a reflection that they are climate change deniers, or are they just living in reality?
Well, they're replacing their nuclear fleet.
I fully agree with that. They found to their cost that building a nuclear power plant in an earthquake zone and a potential tsunami zone is not a good idea. Richard Marles was on the show this morning, spruiking cutting down CO2 emissions. I observed him get into a humongous SUV.
Yeah.
Have a good trip. I hope you're setting off your CO2 emissions with this journey too. Thanks, folks. Things just work out sometimes. Yes, I watched Richard Marles get into a humongous fuel-guzzling, CO2-emitting SUV. At least he didn't arrive in a fuel-guzzling, CO2-emitting chauffeur-driven Commonwealth limo. I'll give him that. At least he is transporting himself around. But there is a tram stop at the front of the ABC, and there is a railway station. I think that Richard might live in Geelong or somewhere down that way. There is a train station at Flinders Street, and he could have got a train from Geelong or wherever he lives and then walked across to the ABC. But no, he's driving around in a fuel-guzzling, CO2-emitting, humongous SUV, and he lectures other people about CO2 emissions. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders.